Welcome. This is week 4 of our class, Finding the Leader Within You. And this week I'm going to take a little bit different approach and talk to you about some of my experiences and how they relate to the chapter. There are 3 points that I think are salient to remember from this chapter, and they involve the difference between management versus leadership, a culture of change, and motivating versus controlling. So with that being said, let me talk to you a little bit about it. First, because we don't meet face to face, you don't get to know some of my stories, and you don't know much about me. I am coming to academics after 25 years in the IT industry in a whole lot of different professions. I've been a CIO for a hospital. I've been an executive management for Siemens. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're an international company of which I was involved in the healthcare industry. My specific area of expertise had to deal with IT healthcare systems, and I worked with hospital executives all over the country in terms of looking at their strategic plan and helping them implement IT systems that would help them grow their organization. So, from that being said, I want to talk about a couple of experiences I had and reflect upon what the chapter had to say. So the first one has to deal with management versus leadership. The book's pretty clear, actually. It says, management is about, the day-to-day activities. It's about, just organizing, budgeting, managing staff. It's just about getting the job done. Leadership, on the other hand, is about change. It's helping organizations through change. And I can tell you that the skill set for those two criteria are very different. Because in one area, when you're managing through change, you have to align your staff people with you. Whereas when you're managing just to get a job done, it can be a bit more controlling. It can be more delegated, more specific into these are the tasks that need to be done. When I was with Siemens, one of the things that happened is we had a third-party relationship with a financial software system called PeopleSoft, and they have a HR payroll system, and they have a general ledger, a whole lot of systems, and we would install these systems for our clients in hospitals all over the country. And it took a lot of knowledge to be able to install these systems. They were not simple to learn, and they were complicated, and I would say it took my staff anywhere between a year to 2 years to really feel a 60-70% comfort level with the software. It seemed like very few people ever used the software beyond the basic component. And it was hard to get people up to speed because they go on customer sites and they wouldn't know what they were doing, and customers would be angry because this was costing them money. So you sort of get the idea. Well, guess what? The company decides then that they're going to no longer partner with this third-party PeopleSoft, and they're going to partner with another company called Lawson. So the biggest challenge was that I could not have all of my staff just jump ship because A, they knew customers, B, they knew Siemens, they knew my internal, and I needed to get them up to speed quickly. So I had to align them with the new goal of learning a new software and installing that for our customer staff while still having to be productive on the old software. And this required much more than management, because this required me to be able to convince them why it was important for them, not just from an organizational standpoint, but from a personal standpoint, why it was important for them to bother to learn this new product and stay with our team. And building that cohesive team was all part of aligning people to a common vision. And the common vision was that A, we were a team that supported each other. B, they knew I would go to bat for them to be able to get them bonuses and extra retention type pay for sticking with the company while we were going through this transition, and also helping them see how personally it would become relevant, and aligning them to the mission of Siemens, as well as staying true to their consulting and meeting the needs of the hospital. So that was an example. It was very challenging because a lot of those people wanted to leave and just continue doing PeopleSoft consulting. So they would leave with all these skills that I had taught them, but I would lose this great person who understood a bigger infrastructure than just the software. So that was an experience. I would tell you that I did lose some people. Some people left and came back, but I kept almost 80% of my staff, which was really very good. There was no loss of productivity, and when the end of the year came, Siemens has the opportunity for staff people to rate their managers and their leaders. And once again, I got a fabulous rating, and they felt that because they knew that I had their best interest in heart, they were able to stick with me. So aligning them, and always remember the person as well as the organization is important. The second thing I want to talk about was motivating versus controlling. To control somebody is to have them do the task. But having people do the task doesn't mean they're doing it very well. But to motivate people to be their best is really the skill of a leader. And as leaders, we want to think about how do we help people find that passion within them to be able to do their best. And that's where motivation comes. It's knowing the person and finding how to motivate them, knowing what's going to be that differentiator for them. Controlling them is going to get you nothing more than a mediocre average product. But motivating them helps them to become creative in achieving great output. And the last thing I want to talk about is creating a culture of change. And this is very relevant for you folks because you're in school to get a job. And statistics say that if you do not get leadership opportunities in your 20s and 30s, then by mid-30, if you haven't had a very significant leadership opportunity, your chances of having one later of any kind of magnitude are very slim. So you want to look for companies that have training programs, whether they're like, when I worked for Siemens, there was a training program for new hires, and then they can move into like this executive training bucket that they were at. GE has something where you bring people in and they take them through a rotation of different assignments. Exxon has the same type of a program where they hire in people at a certain caliber, and then from there they put them through like rotations of different jobs so you have a better view of the company. So when you're looking at jobs, look at organizations that offer a robust training program that gives you lots of opportunity. The big four accounting firms, Pricewaterhouse, Ernst & Young, Deloitte, they all have those type of training programs. You start in as a staff person, you move up to a senior, you move up from there to a manager, and in each of those positions, you learn leadership skills and you keep moving on. The issue with those companies is you work a lifetime of hours. I worked for a company called Arthur Andersen, who has now become Accenture, and I can tell you that when I started, I thought I was going to be a big business consultant. Little did I realize that I was this little staff person doing computer programming, not what I had expected. But they took a certain type of person that demonstrated the ability to get stuff done. And they knew they could throw them in any situation and they would succeed. So you want to be that type of person and you want to show that. So those are the tips from the chapter this week. We'll have a student presentation, and we'll finish the discussion board from last week. And I think we have a little assignment that we're going to get this week. But that's what we're going to do. So I'll look forward to reading all of your comments on the discussion board. And until then, if you have any questions, email me. You can come to my office in Raleigh, G105P. Just stay in touch, and I'm always here to help. Thanks. Bye-bye.